Hello everybody, welcome back. This is the Network Brick speaking, and this should be the third video in the playlist that's going to teach you how to import nodes into EVE-NG. So if I right click and I want to add a node, and in the previous video I highlighted this, all of the nodes are grayed out, which means they cannot be added because we don't have the required software image. So we're going to fix that by importing the software images, and we're specifically going to be looking at MikroTik or MikroTik. And I'm just going to find it. There you can see it's grayed out, so I can't add it. But we're going to need two things to add this device. One thing is I'm going to recommend a program that you can use to connect over SSH or FTP, preferably SSH to your EVE server. And for that, I'll use WinSCP. You can download this off of the internet. It's totally free, and then you can connect to your EVE server using its root login credentials. So I can connect to 192.168.74.139, which is my EVE server's IP. Username root, password is EVE, and I connect, and now I'm in the EVE server. Amazing. So the other thing that we need is we actually need the software image. So for that, we can go to the vendor's website, and this is why I love labbing on MikroTik, because they make the software very easily accessible, whereas another vendor might have a lot of other constraints to getting the software. And what we're going to look for is the cloud hosted router. And for this video, we're going to download the long-term version, and we're just going to download the raw disk image. So I can just download that, save the file, and then once the file is downloaded, I can head to my downloads folder, I can extract the file, and we'll see there's a CHR-6.47.10. All right, perfect. Okay, now next step that we need to do is we actually need to create a directory in EVE-NG for it. So I'm just going to navigate to EVE. I'll go into my VMware session, but you can SSH into it as well. And then I could just do a make dir, and we're going to make a directory in OPT, unit lab, add-on, Kemu, and then from here we need to put on the vendor's equipment. So my next recommended step is actually just go to EVE's website, eve-ng.net, and then from their website they've actually got nice documentation like how-tos. So there's a how-to books. So how to load images. And then in the how to load images, I'm just going to find the MikroTik quickly. So I can just, there we go, MikroTik Cloud Router. And this gives you the exact same steps like I've listed so far in the video. But we need to make sure we make a directory that's similar in name structure, especially this MikroTik bit at the front. This needs to be exactly the same. The version can be whatever you want it to be. So let's create MikroTik, all lowercase. So it's MikroTik dash, and then we know on our downloads folder it's 6.47.10. So 6.47.10. Now we've created a directory. So what I want to do now is just go into WinSCP again. I think I've got a session here somewhere. So in WinSCP, I'll just quickly navigate to the same folder, OPT, unit lab, add-ons, Kemu, and there's the MikroTik folder I just created. So I can just go into there. And then what I can do is in my downloads folder, I could just drag and drop that image into my EVE server. So now it's in my EVE server. If I go back to my command shell, I can do an ls-la, and then we'll see, oh wait, I need to just change directory. So let's cd to opt unit lab, add-on Kemu, and then MikroTik. And then if I look at the files in here, I can see there's a CHR-647.10.image. So all we're gonna do is we're basically gonna rename this image. We're gonna do an MV. We're going to use the image, so CHR-6.47.10.image. And then we just need to rename this to vert.ioa.qcow2. And if we look at the EVE documentation quickly, just to confirm it, we can see Actually, they made it a different name there. It's hda.qcow2. So let's do that. hda.qcow2.qcow2. So that's basically just a hard disk that they're adding for it. Okay. So let's add that. And let's do an ls minus la. So we've got hda.qcow2. And then what I'd like to do is just go back into Eve quickly. And if I right click and I go nodes, I should actually see my MikroTik here now. And MikroTik is there, it's no longer grayed out. I can select it. I can see it is that version 647.10. And now I can add this like another node, but it will now be a router. You can assign stuff like CPU, RAM, Ethernet ports to it, but I'll just add it as is. So there's a MikroTik. I'll just drag this connector. So from Ether1, I'll put this into my net cloud, my management network. And let's start up the router and see if everything works. So let's choose the application. And let's see if everything is here. There is MikroTik login, so I can go admin, enter. And this should be it. I should actually be prompted for a license. I'm just gonna skip this bit, and now we're on a MikroTik router. So this will operate like any normal MikroTik, and we'll use this as a basis for all of the future labs. So I'm gonna end off the video here. I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next session.